America woke up to heartbreaking news. Dolly Parton is gone. The woman who gave us Jolene, 9 to 5, and I Will Always Love You has died at the age of 80. But behind the headlines is a story that is much more emotional than most people realize. Because just days before her death, Dolly Parton was still talking about her health, still talking about the things she wanted to accomplish, and still looking toward the future. Now her fans are asking, what really happened to Dolly Parton? What did she die from? What were her final days like? And perhaps the most heartbreaking question, how did the woman who spent her entire life giving hope to other people say goodbye to the world? Today, in this explainer, we're going through what we know about Dolly's final chapter, her health, her husband Carl Dean, her family, her career, and the incredible legacy she leaves behind. And stick around until the end, because Dolly's final story isn't really about death, it's about what she left behind. Dolly Parton died Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. She was 80 years old. Her family announced her passing through her nephew, Brian Seaver, who described the moment as one filled with both immense pride and enormous sadness. And literally within hours, tributes were pouring in from all over the globe. Fans, musicians, actors, politicians, people who had grown up listening to her and people who had discovered her music only recently. Because Dolly Parton wasn't just a country singer. She belonged to America, to Tennessee, to Nashville, to Hollywood, and honestly, to anyone who ever needed a song about heartbreak, hope, hard work, or starting over. So let's get straight to the question millions of people are searching right now. What was Dolly Parton's cause of death? Well, her representatives confirmed that Dolly died after a brief battle with cancer, but there is something extremely important to note here. The specific type of cancer has not been publicly disclosed by her family. So if you see somebody online claiming Dolly had a particular type of cancer or claiming to know exactly when she was diagnosed or what treatment she received, don't automatically believe it. The officially confirmed information is simple and it's heartbreaking. Dolly Parton fought cancer. It was a brief battle and she died at 80. What we do know and what brings some comfort to her millions of fans is where she spent her final moments. She passed away at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, right in Nashville, Tennessee. She wasn't alone. She died surrounded by her loved ones, the people who knew her not as a global icon in rhinestones, but simply as Dolly.
But something makes this even more heartbreaking. Dolly's final public appearance came in June 2026, at the opening of her Tennessean travel stop. She was still the Dolly everyone knew, the smile, the energy. Nobody watching could have known they were seeing one of her final public moments. Then, on August 21st, just 4 days before her death, Dolly spoke publicly about her health. She acknowledged she was taking time to address issues she had previously pushed aside, but she explicitly said she still had things she wanted to accomplish. Think about that. 4 days. 4 days between talking about the future, planning, creating, and the world learning that she was gone. That's why this news hit so hard. Dolly wasn't supposed to feel like someone who was finished.
And there's another reason Dolly's final chapter was so incredibly emotional. Dolly had already suffered a devastating loss. Her husband, Carl Dean, died in March 2025. Dolly and Carl had been married for nearly 60 years. Think about that. Almost 6 decades together. Carl wasn't a celebrity. He hated the spotlight. While Dolly became one of the most famous women in America, their relationship was intensely private. But it lasted. And after Carl died, Dolly had to face life without the man who had been beside her for most of her adult life. That profound loss undoubtedly stayed with her. And now, just over a year later, Dolly is gone too. Part 1. The Girl Who Came From Nothing, Exploring Dolly's Roots. To truly understand why America is mourning so deeply, you have to go back, way back, before Dollywood, before the Grammys, before the famous blonde hair. Born in 1946, she was one of 12 children raised in grinding rural poverty in the Tennessee mountains. The contrast between her beginnings and her eventual heights as a global superstar and entertainment mogul is just breathtaking. How did she do it? Well, young Dolly realized early on that she possessed a rare, undeniable gift. She could sing, absolutely, but more importantly, she knew how to tell a story and make people feel something deep in their souls. Let's look at how those roots built one of the most incredible careers in American history. Right after high school, she packs up and moves to Nashville with literally nothing but a dream. She lands a spot on the Porter Wagoner Show, introducing her to millions, but Dolly was always destined to be her own boss. By 1973, she steps out on her own, launching her solo career, and by 1980, she's making her Hollywood debut. This wasn't just a natural career progression, this was a masterclass in an artist taking absolute control of her own destiny. And you know the song she wrote in 1973 to say goodbye to Porter Wagoner? Yeah, it was a little track called I Will Always Love You. While it was a huge country hit for Dolly, the true magic of her songwriting is how it completely escaped its genre. Decades later, Whitney Houston recorded it for the Bodyguard soundtrack, and it exploded into an absolute global phenomenon. Dolly didn't just write country music, she wrote the soundtrack to American life. If you want the ultimate proof of her genius, look no further than Jolene. On paper, it's a deceptively simple narrative. A woman terrified that another, more beautiful woman is going to take her man. But Dolly took that raw, everyday fear and spun it into one of the most recognizable, long-lasting songs in music history. It's a song that grandparents, parents, and grandkids have all discovered and claimed as their own. It's just timeless. Part 2. Beyond country music, conquering Hollywood. Dolly didn't just want to conquer the radio, she set her sights on the silver screen. In the 1980s, she started 9 to 5, and later absolutely broke our hearts in Steel Magnolias. These cinematic milestones are crucial because they showed America a warm, funny, deeply authentic Dolly. Hollywood often demands that people change to fit a certain mold, right? But Dolly proved that simply being herself, big hair, big laugh and all, was more than enough to captivate moviegoers worldwide. Part 3. The Secret Wealth, a legacy beyond a bank account. If you search for Dolly Parton online, you're going to see massive numbers on those celebrity net worth websites. She built an empire. But her true wealth was never measured by a bank account. It was defined by what she gave back. Take this number, millions. That is the number of free books that her foundation, the Imagination Library, distributes to children every single month. Dolly never had biological children of her own, but through this staggering philanthropy, millions of children around the world grew up with a gift from Dolly, a book, and the chance to imagine a brighter future. The really crucial point here is that no matter how high she climbed, Dolly literally never forgot her Appalachian roots. She turned the intense pain and poverty of her childhood into dignity. Think of the song Coat of Many Colors. A coat stitched together from rags becomes a beautiful anthem of family pride. She had this unparalleled ability to take the painful realities of a hard life and transform them into something universally beautiful. Beyond the charity and the music, America loved Dolly because she had this incredibly rare gift. She could laugh at herself. She famously joked that it costs a lot of money to look this cheap. She could walk into a room completely covered in diamonds and rhinestones, and somehow, within seconds, make everyone feel like they were just sitting together on a front porch. She effortlessly bridged the gap between extreme, untouchable glamour and warm approachability. And because she was so welcoming, her legacy just kept renewing itself. Take her relationship with her real-life goddaughter, Miley Cyrus. By stepping into the Hannah Montana universe, Dolly ensured that a completely new generation of younger Americans discovered her all over again. She was never just a nostalgia act. She was a living, breathing part of pop culture for decade after decade. Part 4. An Eternal Legacy, What Dolly Left America. As we process the news of her passing at 80 years old, we have to consider the true weight of what she left behind. Just look at these enduring gifts. She didn't just leave a massive financial fortune. She left us the music, the movies, the millions of books in the hands of children. But more than anything, she left a defining American example. A masterclass on how to start with absolutely nothing, reach the absolute pinnacle of global success, and never, ever look down on ordinary people. She proved that you can be wildly successful, endlessly resilient, and fiercely generous, all at the exact same time. Dolly Parton might have passed away, but she isn't really gone. Because every single time Jolene comes on a jukebox, every time a family makes a memory at Dollywood, and every time a child excitedly opens a new book from the mail, Dolly is still right there with us. She didn't just become famous, she became family. Rest in peace, Dolly Parton. America will always love you. Now, we really want to hear from you as we celebrate her incredible life. Dolly Parton meant so much to so many different people. So what is the one Dolly Parton song that you will absolutely never forget? Was it I Will Always Love You, Coat of Many Colors, 9 to 5? Let us know down in the comments. And if Dolly's story touched your life, share this explainer with someone else who grew up loving her. Thanks for learning with us today.